Hello, hello. Welcome or welcome back to Lurk Channel. I'm going to talk about Bloodlines 2. Up front, I think it's kind of a mixed bag. I think there's things that are good. I think there's stuff that is bad. And I'm going to talk about both of those things. And then I'm going to get into kind of a spoilery section at the end, talking about the ending that I got. Kind of an unstructured kind of video. I have some notes, but it's very loose. I'm probably just going to yap a whole bunch while I kind of walk around in this modified gameplay of my second playthrough where I'm playing a La Sombra. I'll show off some stuff that I figured out, but first I'm going to talk about the stuff that I liked, then about the stuff that I disliked, and then that spoiler section. So, let's start off with the things that I liked. First off, I liked the movement. I think the movement in the game is pretty good. I liked traversing the buildings. I like scaling. I like the gliding. I think it's kind of cool. Just kind of hop up. You get this control button that lets you kind of dash, even if you're in the air. It's kind of cyberpunk-esque in that way. And then you can get up on certain things, and then you just keep climbing, and you just keep going. I was okay with the combat for the most part. It's a lot of dodging. You can, of course, dodge into people in order to do a kind of parry attack. There we go. Show off the parry attack. You have various disciplines and stuff that you can use, all of which I think are pretty cool. This is the La Sombra Arms of Main one, for example. Just kind of lets you farm up a little bit. And it's a brawler. It's an action brawler. You get some charge attacks. And although you can parry, I almost never use this. I don't like it. I don't like that you have to dodge into somebody in order to parry. I think that's kind of weird. I just don't like it. So during my playthrough, I just mostly dodged backwards and then used these like kicking attacks that you can do before more charge attacks. Essentially, you do this. Game's running well, even with the changes kind of turned off and stuff. Game seems to be running pretty well, although, as we can see, not perfectly. There's definitely some errors that can occur from time to time, although it's usually minor stuff like this. Like, what do I care that this idiot Anarch is in the ground, you know? I'm just not even going to fight them, right? Graphically, I think it looks a lot better without the fog. Here, let me show you guys with the fog here. And my lights are a little messed up. It doesn't look like that all the time, but they tried to give it this kind of snow blustery look to kind of imitate this like snowstorm, but I honestly think it just kind of takes away from the overall kind of aesthetic of the game, as we can see here in Pioneer Square. I'm also using a mod that lets me fast travel, so that's why I just instantly warped over to here. We'll talk about that a little bit, but I think the overall the atmosphere is pretty good. The environment feels lived in. I think the snowstorm is a solid choice. Kind of reminds me of Indigo Prophecy as far as like what's going on in the city around us and sort of stuff like that. I do like the detective noir type of setting, the Fabian parts where we're part of the Seattle Police Department and we're kind of investigating these reoccurring serial killings of, you know, that involve kindred and all this and that. So yeah, I liked the atmosphere. I wish there was some more music playing. We can probably go back to our haven to kind of get that going. I can show that off a little bit, talk that off. I also thought the main story was fine for the most part. The Bed of Night is okay, the new radio show, although I really haven't caught my interest enough to actually listen to it all the way through. As I was saying earlier, the game runs well for me. I haven't run into many like game-breaking bugs, as I know some other folks have. Like, I watched Carnage run into 2 game-breaking bugs, which is unfortunate. There's our pre-order jukebox, and yeah, the interior here is way too bright because I have the modified settings kind of going. It doesn't look like this by default. And shoutouts to the animal control mod that allows you to move the dead carcass of the cat that's in the kitchen here that you can talk to as Fabian for whatever reason. I did not enjoy that as a cat owner. And yeah, this isn't even our haven, it's just the haven that we're staying at, and it's a fucking pigsty mess. But I guess it is what it is, and hey, we get the jukebox, right? What else did I like about the game? I liked some of the choices that you were able to make. Some of them felt like they actually had some weight to them. We'll talk about whether or not that's actually true later, but it took me a while to consider the consequences of some of my actions. I didn't like immediately, I didn't just like plug right through the game and sort of, there were a couple of moments in my playthrough where I really had to sit and think like, what are the consequences of me doing this? What do I have behind me or behind fire, that'll, allow me to do this politically and stuff like that. Especially trying to roleplay a little bit as a Ventru. I thought that was kind of neat. And yeah, one of them, I actually properly sort of, I thought through a really important decision that I made that didn't end up being supported in quite the way that I thought it was going to go, because I didn't actually need to use the excuse that I had come up with in order to go down that path. But I liked the outcome of it. I enjoyed the fact that all of my thought being put into the decision actually did play out through the story, and it had some weight to it. The main quest line and like the situations generally, the combat kind of scenarios and the boss fights, I thought were all pretty fun. The levels of the design is linear, usually through these like padlocked sections that if there's like enemies around, you're not able to pull the padlock down and move on to the next section. You have to kind of lure the enemies away if you're going to do like a purely stealth type of thing, or you just make sure you kill all of them, which playing as a Venture was super easy. In the disciplines, you get mass manipulation, which allows you to take out like entire groups of NPCs all at once with terminal decree, which just tells all of the NPCs kill themselves essentially. So that was able to just wipe groups of enemies away from the screen, and it was super easy. Played on hardest difficulty, which was hard. Playing on hard again here, and yeah, I didn't find that it was really all that bad. It's not quite the immersive sim light approach of Bloodlines, like especially in the Santa Monica and downtown areas, but there was a proper escalation of the combat scenarios that would sort of change based on what disciplines you had available and what you were, trying to, whether you were trying to rush through a section or not. And yeah, I felt that there was a proper build up, and when I died it felt like it was on me. It didn't feel like, oh, the game fucked up, so I, couldn't finish or whatever. Every time it kind of felt like, oh shit, I should have dodged, or I should have done this, or I should have, not had another discipline besides terminal decree and mass manipulation, possession, and cloud memory on. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about stuff that I liked. I don't think so. So let's get into stuff that I disliked. So first thing that I disliked is the side quests. I think it's the most glaring issue in terms of content kind of in the game, both in terms of the context in which, like, why are they happening, but also like materially they were lacking. None of them branched out beyond like a first step, get this package, kill this NPC, take out this group of people, and you always go back to the same 3 vendors basically. It just didn't, it wasn't enough, it wasn't like the Kilpatrick quests. It wasn't like the Velvet side quests and stuff like that, where you have to go to Santa Monica to go kill the Thin Blood who's been telling the narrator or the script writer about stuff, right? Like, there was nothing that had more than the initial thing, like, goal that it had you set out to do. And I felt that was kind of lacking, and I don't understand why that was. I already touched on the Haven and the dead cat, right? And dead cat just felt kind of unnecessary. Like, emotionally, I can handle video game pets and stuff. Like, I don't, like, oh my god, I have to kill a dog in game, I'm gonna cry, or something. Like, I can emotionally separate myself from the video game depiction of the thing on screen. But this, I don't know, this didn't help me, like, feel bad for Dale, whose apartment it is. It didn't help me, like, it didn't, like, add some context to it or something, really. It was just kind of there. I didn't really care for that. too much. The DLC jukebox, while cool, I think is also lacking. We were just seeing that up in the Haven. I really wish that it was like a CD player or something. You know, we could walk around with our Apple earbuds and be a performative male fire, you know, with our, you know, get some feminist literature, sit on the bench, you know, see if anyone's watching or whatever. It felt weird that the jukebox is only in your apartment. Like, let me walk around and listen to Edward's theme and the other cool new Rick Schaefer tracks and stuff like that. That would have been sick. But instead, it's just kind of this thing. Oh, this is the other system in the game. If you didn't know, there's like blood resonance, and I'll talk about farming resonance later, but there's all these different folks around who are like, they're either like present on the map as far as like events that you can go to. Like this guy almost certainly want to sleep with me, right? Yeah, cool. So now I can lead him away and I can get a feed off if I really want to. Now, where was I in my list of things that I didn't like? So, while combat was responsive, the video game itself is responsive. I also felt that it was kind of fundamentally flawed. Again, going back to that parry mechanic, the fact that you have to dodge into enemies, and the only way that fire can really get overwhelmed in this game, at least in my experience, is if you get surrounded by a group of enemies. So it feels a bit weird that to parry, you have to dodge into the enemies, which if it doesn't work, then you just moved into the group of enemies to get hit more. You know? Like, I think myself and a lot of folks expected there to be a block button. Like, I recall going, like, into the settings and going, like, can I seriously not block? Like, can I seriously not do anything other than do this air dodge, you know, this control button dodge? And yeah, that's the case. You really can't do anything else but do the control air dodge. So yeah, like I think I already mentioned earlier, but I just ignored that completely. You don't need to parry anybody or do anything in that realm with that mechanic in order to beat the game, even on the hardest difficulty. You can just keep control backwardsing, dodge backwards up until you get a chance to, you know, do another charge attack or do another, you know, something like that. I felt that was pretty easy. This guy's still following me. I also, in sticking with the combat for another moment, I also didn't like that the combat just didn't really include weapons and the ability to like hold on to a weapon beyond telekinesis for a little bit. I felt like that was a little bit weird, you know, like, I don't know, like it just, maybe when they were playing it, like they were testing it and it just didn't do it right. Like it wasn't accomplishing the feel of the game that they really wanted, because I don't really see the difference in Fire being a badass and popping off some shotgun rounds into somebody before they, you know, telekinesis it behind their back or whatever, and then punch somebody a few times and then take it out and use the remaining 2 shells to blast someone else away, you know, if it's like a Mossberg or something, right? I don't know, would that really have like been like insulting for an elder to do? I don't know. It feels like a really weak kind of reason for it. I'm cool with picking it up with telekinesis and doing all that shit, but let me hold on to it, you know? It was also annoying when like there's like these elevator sections where you're going like into like a combat situation and you have a bunch of leftover weapons and stuff from the last combat situation that you were just in, but if you drag all of those items into the elevator and then go up, they just kind of vanish. This happened at the final boss fight for me. I was like farming a bunch of weapons together and then I couldn't use any of them. Now, that boss fight, you didn't actually end up needing them, really. But it was just kind of annoying that they're not, you know, you just can't do anything beyond, like, a one-time use with them. So I don't know, like, maybe it really wasn't all that fun when they did it, but it just kind of feels weird. It's also weird that we don't really fight any real, quote-unquote, vampires. I mean, the boss fights are, but, like, it's mostly thin bloods and ghouls and unbirthed that we're fighting against, like these hordes of enemies that are around. There's not too many actual kindred that we attack, and I don't know why that is. It feels weird. All right, farming residents. Residents is a bit of a chore. So in order to unlock abilities, not only do you have to spend resonance, and you have to spend resonance in order to unlock the abilities, and then you have to spend ability points in order to have the abilities active, right? So you have to collect a certain amount of them. And like I was saying, you have these resonance events where people of a certain resonance will come to you, or you'll go and they'll try to attack you if they're the angry red type. They'll want to fuck you if they're the pink horny type, or they're really sad and they're running away from you in terror or whatever if they're like the purple sanguine. This one. And what you need to do is, or what they expect you to do, is to feed off of all of these people during these events, basically. And once the feed animation is done, you get 100 points, and this guy just kind of stands around, and they expect you to just move on to the next thing. However, with certain disciplines, the effect disciplines, as you can see, they say effect above taunt and stuff like that. These ones will change the resonance of the NPC that you are attacking. So this one will make them horny and want to fuck you. This one will make them mad and want to attack you. And this one will make them afraid and want to flee from you, right? And there's a couple other ones, but I don't think Cloud Memory actually does anything with the resonance. It's just these three. So by unlocking all of these three, you can now farm all resonances that are in the game, right? So let's do this one for the taunt. So when you're done feeding on a regular ass human, they lose their resonance, right? He's just a white dude now, and literally and figuratively. And once he's done being all swaying back and forth and whatever, you'll be able to feed on him again. You can just feed on NPCs as many times as you like. So here we go. He's all good to go now that we can talk to him again. So taunt him. He gets all mad at us. We feed on him. And feeding on somebody with resonance also gives you full blood pips down in the bottom right-hand corner. So now we get our caloric red ability thing. And you need about, like, probably someone has actually done, like, the hard math on this, but you need, like, 2,500 points in each one in order to unlock everything. I've already unlocked everything, as you can see. I don't have them fully unlocked with the ability points, but I have everything unlocked from all of the people who can teach you stuff already. Because what you do is you get one of these dudes, and then as they're in this like feeding animation, you can do this, not with taunt, really. It's easier to do with beckon. It's just get another one, right? So.
Come to me.
As long as they can see you, this skill makes them walk towards you. They'll like follow you to your last position. As you can see, because of this like glowy stuff that's around me. And now that this guy's, oh, so if you do it too, oh, she still has it. But if you do it too quickly, they'll like run away and they won't have it again. So now what I need to do is I need to let this guy go. Feed on this person. We'll talk about the masquerade in a minute, because it doesn't really matter. Another person coming. That's weird. We need to keep rallying this guy then, just so that we're out of sight of this person. Okay, we should be good. Yeah. When you see the eyeball closed up there at the top, that means that we're not being observed or whatever. Oh, but now the other person's up, so.
Not resist.
I guess I'm in a pretty public alleyway for this to be happening. But there we go. So now I've got my two victims kind of sitting here, and now I can pretty much just switch back and forth between whatever sort of thing I need. You know, do I need more of this? Do I need more of that? And then I can just keep cycling between the two, because they're not paying attention when they're in this mode.
Walk here.
And because we get the blood back, it's all good. And because they have infinite blood, you can just keep feeding on them. So this is a pretty easy way just to go about farming residents. Other people have definitely pointed this out. I didn't do this at all during my other playthrough because I just used purely Ventrue skills the entire way. I didn't actually feel a need to switch anything up. But yeah, you can just keep doing this over and over and over again until you have all the residents you need. It might take like a half hour, basically. So yeah, I don't know. I wish that. Oh my gosh. I'm being attacked. This is a good time to talk about the Masquerade. So, this game, you are the sheriff. And when you break the Masquerade fully, to where the bar gets fully red, you then have somebody who comes and kills you. Now, there's some speculation as to which character this is. Most people seem to think that it's Tali, the Nosferatu primogen, or whatever the hell he is in this game. A guy who comes and stakes you or whatever. But up until you get to the full red bar of Masquerade, I mean, you can pretty much do whatever you want. And it doesn't matter. Like, nothing has... Like, no one cares. There, we just killed that guy. Who cares? No one cares. This guy's stuck. There we go. See? And we're yellow. Oh my gosh, it's so bad, but crouch down. Now it's going back down, and yeah, we're all good. Just keep doing what you want to do.
Appreciate some help.
So sometimes I feel like some people, like, I had this experience too, where like I accidentally double jumped in front of somebody, like as soon as I left my haven and started getting a Masquerade violation. And I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? What is happening? Turns out Masquerade violations don't matter. As long as you get away before the thing goes fully red, you're all good. And there's some cool movement tech that you can do. Some guy had figured out that you can keep chaining this move. So it's like you jump crouch into an attack, and you do this dead kick. So if you're moving, you can kind of just like, let me see if I can get it going. You can kind of just keep going. It's like crouch movement bunny hopping, essentially, which is pretty fun. And you can just do that right in the middle of the street. Again, it doesn't matter. As long as you get away before the Masquerade ends, you can do whatever you want, kill whoever you want. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. They try to put like this like helicopter noise to indicate that like, oh my gosh, the police are looking for you or something. I mean, there's no helicopter. Who's gonna be flying in a snowstorm? And so yeah, we just murdered a whole bunch of people. There's no humanity system really to think of. Oh my gosh, they're gonna report me. Oh, I guess they could see me from up there. But again, who cares? Just I'm halfway across the city. You know, by the time anything really happens, and then I'm crouched down, and then the thing starts to go down, and we're all good. So I feel like some people maybe they do this in Bloodlines too, where they take the Masquerade like super seriously. I think that's great when it comes to like role playing and stuff, but mechanically nobody cares. And honestly, this is probably a good choice though, for playing an elder and stuff like that, because why would an elder care about their humanity loss if it's already so low in a way, you know? I could kind of see that. It's a little silly. It's a little bit silly. All right, let's move on to other things I dislike. So I already mentioned that I have a fast travel, so shout out to the fast travel mod, which allows you to just press a button on your arrow keys and it just kind of takes you to different places along the map. A lot of the quests, here, we'll go get one, because I'm pretty sure I have one. This is Aurora Pawn. Here we got Nico.
I was hoping to see you again soon, Milo.
Oh, yeah, I was intimate with him, I guess, at some point.
Is there someone who needs my attention?
I do have some. This glove belonged to Edward. Edward wore this glove to reduce clear bruising from the knuckles and scratches from his nails.
Wow.
His girlfriend is clumsy around furniture.
I will deal with this. Be well.
So here's a typical quest for us to do, right? Nico always has these quests where we're tracking somebody down by something that they have pawned off in his shop. We got to use our aura vision to go track it down, right? Miss Thorne can also give you quests. She's the Tremere version of this. And she usually just tells you to go to a point. She just gives you a point on the map and you go to it. Nico's, you get these ones, and you have the optional the option not to break the Masquerade. If you would like to break the Masquerade, you're more than welcome to. Again, we just talked about how trivial it is to trigger Masquerade violations, or at least the green and the yellow bar of it, right? So, in Nico's quests, we have to kill usually a person. Some person, typically. What are you, a caloric event? Oh, you are, okay. So we'll do it this way. We'll
Stand here for me.
seduce this guy over here. Who's it? Oh, there's a policeman over there. Okay.
I should see Nico satisfied. Let's drop in on him.
Off witness. So now this one's only 145 meters away, so maybe this isn't the best example of this. But typically, from my experience, a lot of the side quests will send you 500 meters away, halfway across the map. Right? So you'll get a thing in Aurora Pond, and it wants you to go, like, over here and do something, right? Or it wants you to go to the conservatory, or it wants you to go over here. Or if you go to the glacier, oh, I want you to go kill such and such and such. It's over here, it's over here, it's over here, it's somewhere, and then you have to go all the way back. And as much as I kind of like Fire's movement and the gliding and all of that, it gets old real quick, especially for a side quest that is just that. Like, I'm just killing that guy. Just let me go back. You know, just get me to the next thing. Just let me get in, and the fast travel mod accomplishes that. And I really, really enjoy that aspect of it.
Fire! I hear you visited Edward. That is justice.
Yeah, we killed
Here,
him.
I have found another rare...
Is there some...
I need to consult...
And everybody has all
I look
three of
forward to
these
speaking to you
people,
again.
Nico, Miss Thorne, and Onda de la Sombra, over at the Glacier Hotel. They always have something, a side quest of that type of nature, in terms of for you to do every kind of like story cycle. So once you get through kind of more of like a main quest thing, which is over here at the atrium, in my case right now, and where I'm at in the story, there'll always be another one of these ones and another one of these ones, right? And those are the only three people who really give you side quests for the most part, at least that I can recall off of the top of my head right now. Let's see if there's anything else on my list that I wanted to talk about. Oh, ability points. Yes. So, let's show you that. So you can farm ability points because of the way that the dog water save system in this game works. It's really, really dumb, and I hate it. So let me get to... I gotta run to Miss Thorne at Wakes the Dead then. Where are you? So yeah. Okay, so let's run. Again, nobody cares until you get to red. Now let's do a Miss Thorne quest.
You do brighten.
Yes, yes, yes.
You have something for me to do?
I realize this is a horrible cliche, but if you're passing St. Stephen's, there should be a package amongst the graves near the...
I will see it done.
Okay.
You have a...
We gotta go to St. Stephen's and we gotta get a package. This is stuff that elder vampires do. Let's go do that, right? Now again, these are not the two best examples of the complaint I have that you have to run 500 meters away in order to go do this, but yeah, they usually aren't this short. That is a dead end, and I don't feel like jumping.
guess that's Mrs. T's parcel. Only a little damp. We should get it back to her.
Spoiler? Alright. So now we'll run back to her. Now this isn't going to be a good example of one because it finishes in here, huh?
My heart could still beat.
Your package, miss.
Strange what powers mortals associate. Have a cup on the house.
Be well.
We get 500 that, and we get our ability points. Cool. So now, let me go die.
Someone shoot! That was so.
Beware the masquerade.
Oh, I want the massacre. Kill me! There we go. Hooah! Hooah! Yeah! Shoot me! Yes! Reload.
Down on the fucking. Get away!
Okay.
Back down!
Now you may have noticed that we saved after that Thorn quest, so this might still work. Ah, it did not work. Okay. So normally what would have happened if you're on the overworld while you finish a quest and then you load back into that quest by either dying or you alt F4 and you open the game again, is it will continually give you the ability points over and over and over again. It'll just keep giving you the same amount of experience that you had before. So let's see if I can do that with Onda's side quest. Usually Onda has you go and kill like a group of anarchs or something like that. So we'll see if that happens here.
Well, if it ain't the
Is there trouble?
Looks like Arjun's one of the Thin Bloods that came
Thin
in
Bloods.
from Tacoma. He's been spotted in the...
I will deal with it. You?
Believe me, Elder. You.
Pleasure as always.
Might as well. Alright, so we gotta go to the parking garage.
Walk here.
Whoa! That worked! So note to self, you can't do that. You can't... you can't beckon them, is that what it's called? Can't do that when you're all ready. There it is. You can't do that when they're already charging. Go figure. Alright, we gotta do that again.
Maybe I can convince the master to move to a different anarch state. One that's warmer.
If I do it this way, I'll... a little more tactical, eh?
Hey, help me! Get out of so fucking fast!
Here! Help me! Here! Help me!
beatable by now. Whoa.
Come on, make it brutal.
Come to me.
Did you see? Science. Fucking
There we go, almost done. That animation does get a little repetitive after a while.
Nice work.
Okay, now I wonder if this works the same. Like, if I go... There's a policeman. Oh, now you attack me. Alright.
Suspect is not moving. Repeat, suspect is not moving.
It might only work with the Thorn quest because of the nature of that they just kind of like finish it up for you.
Ooh, they deserve that. Hondo will be pleased.
Yeah, it's not going up. It has to be that it has to be like the Thorn quest then. Oh no, wait. Wait, was it already 6 or was it not 6? Okay, hold on. Let me die again. Let's make sure.
That dealt with Hondo's troublemaker.
Nope, now we have 7.
Nice work.
So yeah, so it does work that way, as I said.
What the hell?
Cops? There's a cop. Beat me up.
Using lethal force! Backup can't be far away.
Drop dead.
But I had to react.
You had to react. It's true. What are you gonna do?
Ooh, they deserve.
And now we have 8 points. So, as you can see, because of the nature of the save system and the way that it kind of does things like automatically upon saving, I don't actually know the like behind the scenes reason for why it is this, but because of the way that it seems to act, this is why it like automatically overwrites your auto saves and other stuff, is that it just does whatever was done last. Like it just calls up the same like triggers, flags, variables, whatever you want to call it, over and over and over again. So you can just keep getting more and more experience, or you can load a save from like 2 hours ago and lose all of your progress leading up to that. So you have to really, really make sure you want to load that freaking save. Yeah, I really wish that they would fix it, because I don't like it. I really don't like it. All right, let's move on to the spoiler section, talking about the story a little bit, and about my kind of first playthrough, right? We should go to the Haven for this, so that I can get the jukebox going, so we can listen to some sick Rick tracks. Essentially, in my first playthrough, I wanted to be an asshole just to everybody. I figure I'm an elder, fuck you. That was the roleplay. That was the attitude, essentially. Well, okay, let me caveat that. I was an asshole to everybody except Ryong and Liu, at least initially. I was suspect of Sophia right from the beginning. I didn't like her, generally speaking. This didn't cheapen kind of the like reveal for me when she does show herself to be like a Sabbat, and the reasons for her creating the Unbirths and the plans that she had for Fire and the Mark and all this and that. But it wasn't the emotional betrayal that they wrote it to be, and I think that was due mostly to the way that I chose to approach the roleplay. I supported Ryong. I wanted to see her take over the city. properly from Lou Graham. Her ending was the real emotional moment for me in place of Sophia when she gets burned up in the sun. I do wish that there were some moments where we could have responded more violently towards, for example, there's a moment where Lou walks into Weaver Tower and she declares herself prince again, and then she dominates Ryong, and I felt like my character should have been able to do something at that point. Like, if I wanted to keep supporting Ryong, why couldn't I have ripped out Lou's jugular right then? You just saw me do it in that combat situation to like 3-4 different thin blood dudes. Why couldn't I have done that? Why couldn't I have subjugated her, and you know, why couldn't I have done anything? Like, there's an option to support Lou and be like, welcome back, Prince, and, you know, do all this and that. But I really wish I could have beat her ass for talking shit in front of Ryong. And like, what's she gonna do? Try and dominate fire? Like, please, you know? I'm glad that there was at least one ending, and I did get this ending where we get to throw Lou out into the out of the window into the sun. It's kind of a lame that it's only a cutscene that we get at the very end. You don't actually get to do it, but I mean, at least it existed. It was a thing that you could do in the game. So cool, all for it. That's what I did it. There was no such choice for Tali. I was really annoyed by this, and I suspect that the narrative team just liked this character a little bit too much. Like I was saying earlier with the combat and the masquerade violations, there are some who claim, based on the hand that you get in front of you, that it's Tali who is staking you and following you around and with obfuscate in order to make sure you don't fuck anything up. But I don't know, he's a rude character. He speaks a lot of shit, and you can't retaliate against him or kill him or do any of that. And that's the path I would have chosen. I would have chosen whatever path was available to fuck Tali over, but that wasn't an option. I didn't understand why Fabian was able to save us. So there's a moment where we're escaping from Sophia. This is right after Ryong dies, and she's opening up these window areas that let the sun in, and that obviously is fatal to vampires. And for whatever reason, fire like loses control and like starts frenzying or something, and so. And I might have this wrong, again, I don't understand it, but Fabian is able to take control of Fire's body and then kind of limps them out of the situation and saves them, but in doing so, like, fatally hurts himself, right? Or maybe I've got this wrong. And I don't know, was this established at any other point in the story that Fabian was able to control Fire? Like, take over Fire's body? I don't think that was established. And why did the sun harm him if he's a diablerized, Mark-saved being guy in Fire's head? Like, I just didn't get it. I understood that they were going for, like, he's saving us, right? Oh my gosh, Fabian, my man, you know? And I had that reaction, but why did that work like that? Why didn't Fire's body just disintegrate or something? Like, it didn't gel well, and it didn't make sense. But I am glad that Fabian was a good guy, and generally I thought he was a pretty alright character. I didn't mind him. I think the people saying that he talked too much and oh my gosh, he'd be given quips all the time in a forsaken whatever that game's called, dialogue. That didn't happen. Now that said, and I am very clearly biased here. Let me throw my bias on the table right away. That I'm a Bloodlines 1 purist. You know, I played the game vanilla more times than anyone has any, you know, business to. But the characters were not as memorable for me as the characters in Bloodlines. You know, Fabian, for as great as he is, he's no Smiling Jack. And while I liked his voice actor, Ronan Summers, I thought he did a good job. His character just doesn't really hold a candle to John DiMaggio's depiction of Smiling Jack. Lou was great character idea, given that she was a real person. I wanted to lay my head on her chest, you know? I was down for that. But she's no match for the Vorman sisters, you know? And this is just comparing some of the first characters that we meet in the video game, right? I tried thinking about this. Like, why that was. And I can't put my finger on it. Again, I'm biased, I'm nostalgic, so maybe that's really what it is, you know? It didn't hit as hard. It didn't, it's not as, it just wasn't as memorable as meeting Jeanette and Therese for the first time, or meeting Smiling Jack for the first time, or hearing LaCroix talk at the execution. You just didn't get that feeling from any of the characters. All right, now let's talk about Agent Baker. So Agent Baker is a choice that you make in the game where you either embrace her or you don't. And as a hunter, and as someone who controls the hunters, real atmospheric song going on there. And as a hunter, if you control her and embrace her into a vampire, you can then control where the hunters, what the hunters do and stuff like that. So the choice that I made was to have Fire leave the city. I sent Max to Katsumi. I took Benny to Ryong, and then I embraced Agent Baker, and I sent the hunters away from Seattle. What I didn't like and what I found out is that the Agent Baker choice is basically a bottleneck. So if you send the hunters against like Lou or some of the other characters, that then locks you into an ending where the hunters like invade the city, essentially, is my understanding. And I don't know, I didn't like that. This is the choice that I really, one of the choices that I really grappled with during the game, and my thought process was that Fire could really use the help, right? It'd be nice to have another vampire who you've sired, who's, gonna listen to you almost implicitly because of that kind of relationship. But also, she's a hunter, so you can control the hunters, which was also Ryong's idea. I wanted to support Ryong, and I figured with Lou and the whole thing with the gardener and stuff like that, that I could lean on that if it became an issue for her. Like, oh, you sired without asking? Well, fuck you. I fixed up your gardener problem and made you stop worrying about the beckoning. So, back off. It's fine. You should give me this one. Is how I was going to approach it. But this never really came up. Lou never really seemed to have an issue with it, and Ryong was cool with it based on how I used them to send them away from Seattle and not really fuck with anybody. That was her idea in the first place, right? So she was supportive of that, and so it kind of got hand waved away. Tali said some shit about it. Again, I couldn't retaliate against him for some reason, but it was fine, like it worked out. But I don't like that, again, I made the good choice, at least I think. But I don't think that was, it's a weird bottleneck situation to have. In my ending, Katsumi, who is the leader of the kind of anarchs in this, or some of the most of the anarchs in this, in Seattle, she ended up taking over. And I think she ended up taking over because of the choices that I made. Again, I had Fire leave the city. I sent Max to Katsumi. I took Benny to Ryong. I embraced Agent Baker and sent the hunters away. I was mean to every single character except Ryong. I did not finish all of the Collectathon quest, finding the cameras, the Anarch symbols and the mark stuff. And I tried to kill Katsumi on Lou's behalf, and then I chose to kill Lou at the end. And the ending that I got was that Katsumi took over. And I wonder if this would still happen if I either sent the hunters after her, or if I had told her to leave Seattle rather than trying to kill her. I don't know if that would have made enough of a difference. So I don't know. I didn't intend for that ending to happen. I probably could have gotten the Prince ending if I had wanted that option, but I was thinking that Fire would have left, the Nomad, the Nomad leaving. That just kind of made a lot of sense to me, and it kind of fit in the way that I was kind of playing it. Where like initially we were cool with Lou, we were cool with Ryong. Ryong died, Lou turned out to be a shitbag, and so we killed her, and then we left. Right? That all worked out for me. We scroll down in my notes. So yeah, that's all the story stuff I wanted to talk about. So let's summarize a little bit. So I don't know, man. I feel for this game in a weird way. I think the game was always in a hard place ever since whatever the fuck happened with Kai Clooney and Brian Mitsoda and Hardsuit Labs. If you haven't watched them yet, my videos on why was Brian Mitsoda fired from Bloodlines 2 and the extended gameplay and HSL comparison videos would both be good watches if you want to get more of my opinions on kind of that situation. But nobody knows what the hell happened there, even though there's some speculation that like Hardsuit Labs was lying and it was the game was just so bad that Paradox decided not to do it, and nobody even liked that first reveal of the game anyways, which is a total fucking lie. I was excited for it. I pre-ordered it. I followed the things. I watched the tender broadcast. So clearly there's some people who liked it, and I'm one of those people. And so, it's weird, the situation that it ended up in, and such a shame. TCR, the Chinese Room, the developers behind this version of the game, would not have been made if Bloodlines 2 wasn't on the table. And Paradox, who owns the World of Darkness, would not have approved the project from Hardsuit Labs if it wasn't Bloodlines 2, right? Again, see my Why Did They Fire Brian Mitsoda from Bloodlines 2 video. And so from my understanding, Sumo Digital, which was the parent company for the Chinese Room, they've since been able to buy themselves out and become independent again. But at the time that they took on this project, my understanding is that it's Sumo Digital who told TCR that they needed to do this project. And then Dan Pinchbeck, who was the lead at TCR at the time, rewrote the story before leaving the company. Again, see my extended gameplay and HSL comparison video, where I go through his blog and talk about some of his quotes where, he's talking about how they were never going to finish somebody else's work and all this and that, and it all makes sense and stuff like that. But, so while TCR did a good job with what they had, I think it's a shame for Bloodlines 2 to end up in this way. I feel like this Haven is a good metaphor for that. It's got some references, it's got some flavor, it's got some good atmosphere, it's got some good tones, it's got some good feel to it in a way, but it's a fucking mess. It's trash at its core, and it's not great. It's not great. It needs mods to improve things and get rid of stuff that I don't like, and it's missing just a lot of those immersive sim-like elements, RPG elements like an inventory, like skill checks, like character sheet tracking, other stuff that people were do expect from a game called Bloodlines based on what the first one was, right? So I don't know why, like, maybe they just thought this was the better direction to go based on what happened with Hardsuit Labs. Maybe this is just what they thought they could do with the time that they have, even though they were given more time. Not to mention the whole DLC debacle where they were trying to fleece everybody out of even more money for this game to keep La Sombra and shit under wraps. And Toreador. Why the fuck would you do that? Is the Benny and Isabella DLC that we're getting, was that even planned from the get-go, or did they come up with that shit later to satisfy the complaints that they had with the DLC? And oh my gosh, we have to get some sort of DLC so we can make some more cash on this project, because God knows how much money Paradox has lost on this project. My God, they must be so fucked up. God, not even to bring up that CEO interview where he's like, God willing, if Bloodlines 2 is good, we'll have Bloodlines 3 be done by someone else. I know some people have tried to contextualize that away as them understanding their market and all this and that. I think he's being a fucking asshole. I don't know why you would say that before the game is even out to a public thing when you're canceling your Sims-like game. It just makes no fucking sense. So yeah, like I said at the beginning, it's a very mixed bag. There's some stuff about this game that I like and I enjoyed my time with, and other stuff that I'm like, man, what a shame. What a shame. That sucked. Yeah. What did you think? How was your Bloodlines 2 experience? Did you even play it? Did you watch my playthrough? What were your thoughts? What are more thoughts? What would you like to see from this game moving forward? It's not gonna get the unofficial patch treatment. Don't even don't even get your expectations going for that shit, man. Don't don't get too excited. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
You rat sucker. Hey, I don't care what you do, but just so you know, polite vampire society looks down on that kind of thing.